The morning sun streamed through the tall glass windows of an exclusive five-star restaurant in New York City. Businessmen in sharp suits filled the tables, their hushed conversations blending with the clinking of fine china and the soft notes of a piano playing in the corner. Among the polished silver and glistening wine glasses, a young waitress named Maya carried herself with quiet grace. Her red uniform was neatly pressed, but her tired eyes revealed long hours of double shifts. She worked silently, balancing trays heavier than they looked, her smile often forced but always polite. What no one saw was the heavy burden she carried: student loans, rent overdue, and a mother battling illness at home. Maya's world was fragile, yet she stood strong because she believed in dignity, no matter how others treated her. At the center table sat Richard Caldwell, a billionaire CEO known for his arrogance as much as his wealth. He was in his late 40s, dressed immaculately in a navy blue suit worth more than Maya's yearly rent. Across from him sat international investors, powerful men flown in from overseas to finalize a historic $3.5 billion deal. This meeting was more than business, it was the moment Richard had been waiting for, the crowning jewel to cement his legacy in the corporate world. Every eye in the room, even those pretending not to look, seemed to know that something monumental was unfolding in that corner. And then it happened. Maya approached their table, balancing a tray with quiet concentration. Just as she leaned forward to place Richard's plate, her hand brushed against the edge of his sleeve, an accident so small it should have been forgotten in an instant. But Richard's eyes narrowed, his pride wounded by what he considered imperfection. He slammed his hand against the table, rattling the silverware, and his voice cut through the air like a blade. "Don't touch me, you stupid girl." His words burned louder than the piano, louder than the conversations, and in that instant, the entire restaurant froze. Gasps echoed, eyes widened, and silence fell so heavy that even Maya's breath seemed too loud. "Before I continue, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the dignity every human being deserves, take a moment right now to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Together, we can spread the kind of stories that remind the world what truly matters." Maya's hands trembled, but she did not respond. Years of working in restaurants had taught her to swallow pain and carry on. Yet the hurt cut deep, not because of the insult, but because she had been reduced to nothing more than a target of his cruelty. She excused herself quietly and walked away, tears threatening to spill. The investors at the table exchanged glances. They were men who had built empires, but they had also seen enough of the world to know that character matters more than numbers on a contract. The eldest among them, a man named Mr. Han, leaned back in his chair, his expression cold. He whispered something to the others, and within seconds, the entire energy of the table shifted. Richard, however, was oblivious. He smirked, straightened his tie, and began speaking again about profits and global expansion. But the investors no longer listened. Their minds were made up. To them, a man who could not treat a waitress with respect could never be trusted to lead a partnership built on trust, loyalty, and human values. One by one, they placed their napkins on the table and stood up, their chairs scraping against the floor in unison. Richard's words faltered. Confusion clouded his face as they walked away without explanation. And then Mr. Han turned back, his voice low but firm, carrying a weight that silenced the room once again. "If you cannot respect the people who serve you, how can we trust you with billions?" In that moment, Richard Caldwell's empire began to crumble. Calls came in later that day confirming what he feared: the $3.5 billion deal had collapsed. News spread quickly, headlines blazed across financial channels, and shareholders panicked. For Richard, the humiliation was unbearable. But for Maya, the story had just begun. Because while Richard lost billions in seconds, Maya gained something priceless. The investors, deeply moved by her grace under humiliation, quietly arranged for her to receive a scholarship fund through their foundations. Days later, she was called into the manager's office, where she was told her student loans would be cleared, her mother's treatment would be fully funded, and a path toward her dreams was now wide open. Maya had never asked for kindness, but it had found her anyway, born from her strength, her dignity, and the way she carried herself even when the world tried to crush her. The sun dipped low in the sky that evening as Maya walked home, her heart lighter than it had been in years. She looked at her mother resting by the window, the golden light wrapping around her like a blessing, and for the first time, hope felt real. The billionaire had lost his empire, but she had gained the kind of future money could never buy: peace, dignity, and the knowledge that kindness still lived in the hearts of powerful men who valued humanity over arrogance. And so, in one ordinary day at a restaurant, the world was reminded that power without humility is empty, and money without respect is worthless. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Stories like these deserve to be told, not just to entertain, but to remind us of the values that make us human. Life has a way of revealing the truth in the smallest of moments. That day in the restaurant, what seemed like a simple exchange between a wealthy man and a waitress became a lesson for everyone watching. It reminded the world that respect cannot be bought, and dignity should never be stolen. The investors saw something far greater than financial projections or profit margins. They saw character. They understood that no amount of money could ever erase the stain of cruelty. And in their decision to walk away, they gave the world a silent message: kindness matters more than power. For Maya, that moment became a turning point. She had lived with the quiet ache of feeling invisible, unseen in a world that often dismissed people like her. Yet, in the very instant she was insulted and humiliated, the universe responded with justice. She did not raise her voice, nor did she retaliate. Instead, her quiet grace exposed the emptiness of arrogance and revealed the true wealth of humility. The truth is, all of us face moments like this, times when we are tested not by grand gestures, but by how we treat others when no one is watching. Respecting a stranger, thanking someone who serves you, showing patience when it's easier to snap, these are the real measures of character. So the next time you find yourself at a restaurant, a store, or even passing someone on the street, remember Maya's story. Remember that behind every uniform is a human being with dreams, struggles, and a heart that longs for dignity. A kind word may seem small, but it has the power to change everything. Because in the end, true greatness is not measured by billions earned, but by the kindness we give away freely.